I'm not asking for any favors, because when you ask for favors, you have to do favors in return. We don't need favors.
After what critics described as Trump's unsuccessful China outreach, Gulf powers like Saudi Arabia are reportedly beginning to question whether Washington can still provide a reliable security shield against Iran. Trump's intense focus on managing tensions with China has reportedly unsettled some Gulf allies, with Riyadh now appearing more interested in reducing tensions with Tehran than depending entirely on American military protection. A growing concern in Riyadh, according to regional analysts, is whether the United States can realistically contain Iran if it struggled to secure stronger leverage during Trump's high-stakes engagement with China. Trump's controversial China visit is now being viewed by some observers as a moment that may have deepened anxiety among America's Gulf allies over the future reliability of U.S. power in the region. Saudi Arabia has reportedly discussed the possibility of a broader non-aggression pact involving Middle Eastern states and Iran as part of efforts to prevent another major regional conflict after the current war subsides. According to the Financial Times, Riyadh has been weighing a post-war non-aggression framework with Iran inspired by the Helsinki-style diplomatic model once used to reduce tensions during the Cold War era in Europe. The proposed pact is reportedly one of several diplomatic and security arrangements being explored by Saudi Arabia as it looks for ways to ease regional tensions and stabilize the Middle East after the Iran war ends. The Arab diplomat told the Financial Times, "It all depends who is in it. In the current climate, you're not going to be able to get Iran and Israel. Without Israel, it could be counterproductive because after Iran, they are seen as the biggest source of conflict. Iran is not going anywhere, and this is why the Saudis are pushing it." The report also said that Arab states remain deeply concerned about Iran's expanding missile and drone capabilities, even as they explore diplomatic options to reduce the risk of another regional war. According to the Financial Times, Saudi Arabia has been pushing the idea of a regional non-aggression pact as a way to manage tensions with Iran and stabilize the Middle East after the war ends. The Financial Times also claimed that Gulf states have already discussed the possibility of a new regional security arrangement involving Iran as broader alliance structures across the Middle East begin to shift. Notably, trade disputes, global oil markets, Iran, and tensions surrounding Taiwan were among the key issues discussed during the 2 days of high-level meetings between Chinese President Xi Jinping and US President Donald Trump. Trump later claimed that Xi had committed to withholding military equipment and strategic support from Iran, presenting it as a significant diplomatic outcome from the talks in Beijing. However, despite the high expectations surrounding the visit, Trump ultimately left China without any major breakthroughs on trade negotiations or clear assistance from Xi in efforts to end the Iran war. Now, the reportedly shocking Saudi proposal for a non-aggression framework with Iran reflects just how dramatically strategic calculations and alliance priorities may be shifting across the Middle East.
Did President Xi make any firm commitment to put pressure on the Iranians to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
I'm not asking for any favors, because when you ask for favors, you have to do favors in return. We don't need favors. We've wiped out their armed forces, essentially. We may have to do a little cleanup work because we had a little month-long ceasefire, I guess you'd call it, but we have a blockade that's so effective. That's why we did the ceasefire. We really did the ceasefire at the request of other nations. I wouldn't have really been in favor of it, but we did it as a favor to Pakistan with terrific people, the Field Marshal and the Prime Minister. But no, I mean, President Xi and I agree on many things, and we agree very much on trade. We're going to be doing a lot of trading. Our farmers are going to be taking in. I mean, our farmers are going to be very happy with the deal we made.
Is your instinct that he will put pressure, that he will try and get them to do more?
Ask him to put pressure because, I don't need favors. I think he will. I think automatically he'd like to see it opened up. He gets about 40% of his energy or his oil from that, from the strait. We get none. We don't need it.
An Arab diplomat reportedly told the Financial Times that most Muslim-majority states would likely welcome the idea of a regional non-aggression pact with Iran as a way to reduce long-term instability in the Middle East. European capitals have also reportedly backed the Saudi-led proposal, viewing it as a possible framework to prevent future regional wars and reduce the risk of another large-scale military escalation. According to sources cited in the report, the Saudi proposal is aimed at providing Iran with broader security guarantees designed to reassure Tehran against the possibility of future military attacks. However, despite the ongoing diplomatic discussions, The participation of the United Arab Emirates in the proposed Iran Security Pact reportedly remains uncertain and unresolved at this stage. According to multiple reports, the war has significantly deepened the already existing tensions and strategic mistrust between the United Arab Emirates and Iran amid growing regional instability. The United Arab Emirates publicly denied ever hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, even as several reports and claims emerged suggesting that such a visit may have taken place during the conflict. In a historic development, Israel has revealed that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conducted a previously undisclosed visit to the United Arab Emirates amid the ongoing Iran conflict, marking a significant diplomatic moment during heightened regional tensions. The Prime Minister's Office of Israel confirmed that Benjamin Netanyahu made this covert visit during the course of Operation Roaring Lion, while military and strategic operations were still actively unfolding. During the trip, Netanyahu reportedly held a discreet and closely guarded meeting with UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed, reflecting the sensitivity and high-level nature of the engagement. According to reports, this encounter marks the first officially acknowledged face-to-face meeting between the two leaders, highlighting a rare moment of direct diplomacy at the highest level. The Prime Minister's office stated that the discussions led to what it described as a historic breakthrough in relations between Israel and the UAE, signaling a potential shift in regional cooperation. A source familiar with the meeting indicated that the talks took place in the city of Al Ain, near the Oman border, on March 26, adding further detail to the previously undisclosed diplomatic timeline. The meeting reportedly lasted several hours and was conducted entirely in secrecy, with no public disclosure or media coverage until the details emerged much later. This development comes in the aftermath of earlier failed peace negotiations and at a time when US President Donald Trump is visiting China, adding a wider geopolitical backdrop to the event. The announcement also comes in the wake of separate reports suggesting that the heads of Israel's two primary intelligence agencies carried out visits to the United Arab Emirates during the ongoing conflict with Iran, further deepening the picture of behind-the-scenes diplomatic and security coordination during wartime conditions. According to these reports, the leaders of Israel's two main intelligence organizations are said to have independently traveled to the UAE in recent months, indicating a coordinated but carefully concealed pattern of high-level engagement despite the public sensitivity of the conflict. According to intelligence reports, Mossad Director David Barnea is believed to have visited the UAE at least twice during the war period, as reported by international media outlets including the Wall Street Journal. Further reports suggest that these meetings were held in March and April, indicating a sustained pattern of back-channel diplomacy between the two nations during a highly volatile period. Meanwhile, Shin Bet chief David Zini is also reported to have visited the UAE in recent weeks, according to the Times of Israel, underscoring ongoing security-level coordination. It is important to note that none of these meetings have been officially confirmed or publicly disclosed by either Israel or the United Arab Emirates, leaving much of the information based on reports and sources. The development gains further significance in the broader regional context, especially as the UAE has also been reported to have taken part in actions against Iran during the course of the ongoing conflict. The UAE reportedly carried out direct military strikes on Iran without publicly acknowledging them, according to a Wall Street Journal report citing people familiar with the matter. The report says the UAE became an active combatant in a war in which Iran had also made it one of its biggest targets. The Wall Street Journal published the revelation on May 11th, attributing it to sources familiar with the matter. The report also said the UAE's military is equipped with Western-made fighter jets and surveillance networks that enabled such operations. One reported target was a refinery on Iran's Lavin Island, according to the Wall Street Journal's account. That refinery strike reportedly took place in early April and sparked a large fire at the site. The damage reportedly knocked much of the refinery's capacity offline for months. Lavin Island sits in the Persian Gulf, making any strike there strategically and politically sensitive. H.A. Hellier said, and I quote, "The Emiratis made it clear early on that they didn't want this war. But it's also clear that since the first Iranian strikes on the UAE took place, Abu Dhabi's been quite transparent that they see the regional picture as having changed dramatically. Abu Dhabi hasn't confirmed what they have targeted, or even if they have targeted, but from the early days of the war it seemed only a matter of time before we saw increased kinetic involvement of different Gulf states in the war." Unquote. If confirmed, the move would mark a significant shift by the UAE toward more direct use of force in regional conflicts. The timing is also notable because the strike was said to have occurred near the period of a declared ceasefire. The Wall Street Journal reported that the attack happened around the time Trump was announcing a ceasefire in the Iran war. The revelation underlines just how fragile the ceasefire has become, as US-Iran peace efforts remain stuck in deadlock. It was not just the famous Iron Dome batteries that went to the UAE. A new report says Israel also shipped a cutting-edge iron beam laser shield during Iran's massive strike. According to reporting cited from the Financial Times, Israel sent a version of its iron beam laser defense system to the UAE to help counter incoming Iranian drones and rockets. The system is designed to fire high-energy laser beams that vaporize short-range rockets, mortars, and drones before they can reach cities, bases, or critical infrastructure. This deployment is described as one of the first major wartime defense links between Israel and the UAE since they normalized ties under the Abraham Accords. One regional official told reporters that the move showed the value of being Israel's friend when a conflict erupts and missile sirens start to wail. According to multiple reports and regional experts, Gulf powers are now reassessing how much they can continue relying on Washington for long-term military protection and strategic stability in the Middle East. One report claims that what many see as a gradual U.S. retrenchment from the region has pushed several Gulf states toward a strategy of hedging, where they diversify alliances instead of depending entirely on America. Gulf monarchies have also reportedly warned that a US-led naval initiative in the Strait of Hormuz could dangerously escalate tensions and trigger a much wider regional confrontation with Iran. Saudi Arabia reportedly refused to provide American forces with access to its airspace and military bases for a planned US operation around the Strait of Hormuz on May 7. According to reports, Kuwait also declined to support the proposed US-led Project Freedom mission, which aimed to secure commercial shipping routes through the strategic waterway. During the height of the crisis, Qatar reportedly imposed restrictions on certain US military activities taking place from Al Udeid Air Base, America's largest military installation in the region. The report further claims that full US access to key Gulf military bases and overflight routes was only restored after the controversial operation was eventually paused. Taken together, these developments suggest that Gulf leaders are increasingly pursuing more independent foreign policies and regional calculations beyond Washington's traditional sphere of influence.